Uh, I'll tell a couple of stories. One very interesting story that is of from Russia. So this was a very wonderful devotee who was also very famous comedian in Russia, very famous all over Russia, very famous, and he's a devotee, disciple of His Holiness Mukunda Goswami Maharaj, and his wife, had not yet accepted initiation yet. She was just waiting, and her husband was just feeling that, well, you should accept initiation fast. What are you waiting for? So she said that, well, I need to get convinced from my heart that who is my spiritual master. Till that time, I'm not convinced. So of course, because he was such a famous comedian and he had a very large house, and many of the sannyasis would, when they would come to Moscow, they would stay in his house. So she had a very close association and the facility to serve the spiritual master to Moscow, and so many devotees, so many sannyasis, they come to Moscow, for preaching. So she was actually meeting many spiritual masters, but she would still wait. She had not yet taken initiation. So then, in one of the years, that Radhanath Swami Maharaj started visiting Russia. This was in the year 1999. That Radhanath Maharaj first was invited to go to Russia, to Moscow, and Maharaj visited, and there was a very large event happening in one of the large halls. So this devotee drove his wife, and they drove and they're parking the car. And that time Maharaj was inside doing kirtan. It was a very tumultuous kirtan. So the kirtan could be heard outside as well. So moment this lady heard the kirtan, she immediately felt in the heart that this is my spiritual master. She had not met Radhanath Maharaj, nor had seen Radhanath Maharaj. So this is my spiritual master. Of course, she just felt in the heart, and she may have just told her husband. But then they went inside, they attended the program, and she got more and more convinced that, yeah, this is my spiritual master, because there was a direct connection that she experienced by seeing Maharaj, hearing Maharaj, and things like that. So then she didn't take formal initiation, but she accepted Maharaj in her heart as a spiritual master. Now this is very important for all the devotees. That many times devotees feel that, well, I'm not initiated. It is taking so much time. Sometimes Maharaj takes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years for initiation to happen, and people feel a little despondent. But please, this story will give you a strong understanding about the real presence of spiritual master, irrespective of what is your initiation status. So this lady accepted Maharaj as in her heart as the spiritual master. Then after a few months, the husband decided that because they wanted to visit Vrindavan, he booked the ticket without telling her, and he said, we are going directly from Moscow, a flight directly to Delhi. From Delhi, we will go to Vrindavan. And this lady said, well, I don't want to go to Vrindavan, because it is said that before you go to Vrindavan, you must take the blessings of your spiritual master. And I have not yet taken blessings of Radhanath Maharaj, and I don't know how can I take. Tomorrow you're telling me to leave. I can't leave like that. I don't want to. But the husband said, well, I already booked the tickets. Everything is all arranged. So we are going. So she was feeling in her heart not very happy that she's going to Vrindavan without taking the formal blessings of the spiritual master. But still, she had to go because the husband had done all the arrangements. So she said, okay, let's go, but not very happily. So she sat in the flight, and she was constantly feeling that sort of nagging guilt that I'm not going with the blessings of my spiritual master. So then she sat in the flight, and in all the flights, you all know there is a particular magazine of each flight, and this was the flight which is Aeroflot, which was a Russian airlines, and there was every seat has a magazine. So she was sitting, the flight had not yet started, and she just was scanning through the magazine. And my dear friends, be ready to hear this. And guess what she saw in the magazine? It is a Russian magazine. It's a magazine of a Russian airlines having absolutely no connection to India or to religion or to spirituality. Absolutely nothing. When she opened one of the pages, she saw on the page a DT photograph of Vrinda Devi, and of all the people, she sees Radhanath Swami praying to Vrinda Devi. Now she was shocked. She saw it closely. I said, yes, this was Vrinda Devi. The Bhaktivedanta Manor Temple in London, they have a beautiful deity of Vrinda Devi. And Radhanath Maharaj had done the opening of that whole kunja of Tulsi, where Vrinda Devi deity is present. And this photograph was taken when Radhanath Maharaj was praying to Vrinda Devi and during the opening of the Vrinda Devi kunja. So now the article of the Russian magazine is talking about various devis and deities being worshipped in the world. And one of the small article was about deities worshipped in India. And of all the millions of photographs that they could have selected from the internet, they selected the deity photograph of Vrinda Devi. And of all the people that could have been praying to the Vrinda Devi deity, they selected the photograph of Radhanath Swami praying to Vrinda Devi. And here is this lady about sitting in the flight, about to go to Vrindavan. Vrindavan is nothing but the domain of Vrinda Devi, because she is the overall manager of Vrinda Devi, and we seek blessings of Vrinda Devi. And she is a disciple, as a disciple of Radhanath Maharaj. So she sees Vrinda Devi and Radhanath Maharaj in the magazine, and she gets completely convinced with the understanding that Guru is always with you. If you have complete conviction, then even if you're not physically prayed to your Guru, if you're not physically taking his permissions, but if in a heart you are praying to the Guru in your heart, in some way or the other, Guru is there present to bless you. And guess what, my dear friends? She collected all the magazines of the flight, and she took all the magazines because she was feeling so ecstatic that, of course, not all, not possible, but she would gather as many magazines. And we saw that magazine, we saw that photograph in her house, and we were ourselves surprised. Everything in Russian, not a single word of English, but it was a ditty of Vrinda Devi and Radhanath Maharaj. So, my dear friends, this can't be coincidence. This can't be just an episode which just happened. It is divine orchestration. It is a divine arrangement of the Lord, not only for this lady who experienced it herself, but for you and for us, for every one of us to have faith. As I said, Gita was spoken to Arjun, but it was for everybody. This particular episode is not just for her, but it's a conviction for everybody, whether we are initiated, whether we are Venkata Govinda, not yet initiated, or whether we are Shridama Das, or whether we are Gokila Krishna, whatever the name that I read, whether we initiated or not initiated, but we are aspiring from Radhanath Maharaj, or for that matter, aspiring from any spiritual master, that person takes complete charge of our life. And if you surrender to that person's blessings, that person's prayers, and that person's spiritual guidance is always upon us. And we should have complete conviction in this particular fact. Please say Haribol if you like this story.
Haribo.
Haribo.
Thank you so much, Ruji.
Very nice story.
Very inspiring, very motivating.
Very nice story. Haribo.
I will tell you one more pastime. This many years back, somebody had one senior devotee had told me that time in Maharashtra they were opening many different centers and brahmacharis were going and preaching. So in Meerut also the preaching was happening, and Meerut is a small place. So there one brahmachari was going. Meerut. So I think Krishnanand Prabhu was going there for preaching. And this particular devotee, he used to come to Kolhapur also, and he became a devotee in Meerut. So he used to travel to Kolhapur to get association of other devotees. So one year he traveled to Kolhapur and he attended a program. And at the end of the program, they announced that this year will be Kartik when the yatra will be going to Vrindavan with Radhanath Swami Maharaj. And he was very poor person. So while returning back to Meerut in the train in the night, he was thinking, that, I can never attend this yatra. I'm not, I don't have that Lakshmi. And so he just sat with that understanding, and he went to sleep in the train. And he had a dream. In the dream, he saw Radhanath Swami Maharaj coming to him. And he told him that you take this form. That time he used to physically form the yatra form. You take this yatra form and go and give it to Shyamananda Prabhu. And tell him that I have asked you to come for the yatra. So Maharaj gave him personally the yatra form and told him that you give this to Shyamanand Prabhu. So morning he got up and he was thinking, I am thinking so much about yatra, so I dreamt like that. But to his great surprise, when he reached his home, and he got a call from Krishnanand Prabhu, who was a visiting brahmachari, and he said that there are many devotees who are not able to come to yatra because of financial problems. So this year, Radhanath Swami Maharaj has decided that all the Vyas Puja money which he gets, with that money, he is going to sponsor yatra of all the Belgaum, Kolhapur, Miraj, all devotees, and they all can come for yatra. So you can come for yatra. So can you imagine this? Where a single soul practicing in Miraj and where just had a desire to, and he has a dream, and that's what comes true. So this is not ordinary. This is not material. This is spiritual. On spiritual platform, what all things can happen, we cannot understand. So that's why sometimes we try to understand our relationship with our spiritual master on material basis. But on spiritual platform, things work on a very different level. So we must only what we can do is we can just have faith in the words of the scriptures, in the words of Srila Prabhupada, in the words of Srila Guru Maharaj. That yes, once you take shelter of the spiritual master, he is always there to connect you to Lord Shri Krishna. Okay, so this is what we wanted to begin with. That how the spiritual master, it's a guru tattva, and you physically the spiritual master may be present in front of you, may not be present in front of you, but when you sincerely take his shelter, sincerely pray to him, then he is there for you at any time, anywhere. Another pastime I remember, this is about many years back. uh, Now I will tell you some things about service oriented and how Maharaj was so in the initial days when we became devotees in early, late 80s and early 90s. So at that time, Maharaj was available. The congregation was very small, and Maharaj was easily available to whoever could go and meet him. In fact, he was a preacher for us. Like many of us have, like many of you must be having a devotee who preached to you. So similarly for us, Maharaj was that preacher who preached to us. So can you imagine when you have somebody, and that time he had that time because he was sent to Mumbai for preaching. So many things he would personally guide us, personally tell us. And I remember I was just trying to recollect few instructions which are very, very important. I joined as at 17, 18 years old, and came from a very conservative Gujarati family and very pious family, and very attached to my family. But when you take up Krishna consciousness, and at that time things were very dynamic, very, very dynamic. Now, in fact, Maharaj has made it very family oriented, but that time ISKCON was very different. So, and like every evening there were programs in the temple, and the programs would start not earlier than 8:30. 7 to 8:30 kirtan, and 8:30 Maharaj would start the lecture, and the program would get over by 10:30. But and when temple was at Grand Road, and my mother's house was at Goregaon. So it took almost 1 hour to reach to my home. So I had to leave. I could never attend a program. I could just attend the Gaur Aarti and I had to leave. So one day I was telling Maharaj, that Maharaj, I'm feeling, I just cannot attend your programs in the evening. So Maharaj gave me a very beautiful instruction. He told me that I will be very happy if you are obedient to your parents. Because if you are obedient to your parents today, tomorrow you will become obedient to your husband. And then in future, I can think that maybe one day you will become obedient to me also. So it gave us such clear understanding, that what is important for us at that point of time. I remember there were many other people who would say that just forget your family, just be in temple, hear Krishna Katha, this is most powerful. But Maharaj was very, very different. He was always very family oriented and always guided us that how we should, remember, take good support and good shelter of our parents. So this was one instruction I remember which was very, very special to me. Then I also remember instructions while one day I asked Maharaj that Maharaj, you always say that this particular deity is my pranadhana. Rupa Goswami. That time Maharaj used to sing like Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Rupa Goswami pranadhana he. So such songs, he would sing many times. So one day I asked him, Maharaj, what do you mean by pranadhana? So Maharaj said, pranadhana means that your each and every breath, your each and every thought, your each and every drop of energy, your each and every moment, your each and every movement should be used only in the service of the deity. So then he said, you should make your life and soul Radha Gopinath. And you should pray to Radha Gopinath that let my each and every breath, let my each and every thought, let my each and every drop of my energy, each and every moment should be used only in your service. And so that is the perfection of prayers. So somehow or other, Maharaj helped us to remain connected to Radha Gopinath. And he allowed us to do every single service at Radha Gopinath. At that point of time, there was not one service which Matajis could not do. We could do everything. DT worship, backup seva, sometimes like after the festivals, Janmashtami and other festivals, we would, myself and Vishakha, we would remain awake in the night and full cleaning up at the backup. After Janmashtami festivals, 12 o'clock, it is so late. And most of the people are exhausted because of fasting, but we could remain awake and we could do so many services. By the time you finish, it is the next day Mangala Aarti. So again, you do Mangala Aarti services and then you go to sleep. Or we used to have Palgar, Janmashtami, so we used to go there. So every single service, especially DT worship, he allowed us to do, perform DT worship so nicely that we never missed anything. Like I have no regret that I missed something in Krishna consciousness, because he always encouraged and he always told us that Krishna consciousness should be a very, very happy experience. Even when we became counselors at very young age, we got married and within 11 months we were made counselors, because we both were preaching to the young students. So they said, now you become counselors for them. So at that time, only one instruction Guru Maharaj gave, and that said, let the entire experience of Krishna consciousness should be very, very happy for them. Make the experience very happy for them. So that is what he did with us.